Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie and I am the owner of Stephanie Arias Event Planning. I am based in the Tampa Bay area and I'm coming to you with my first YouTube video. So I'm very excited and I mainly just want my channel to be a place where newly engaged couples, brides, grooms can come in and get any questions answered and learn some tips and tricks as to how to navigate the wedding process, because as we all know, the wedding process can be very stressful. It can be very overwhelming at first. You know, it's the first time that you ever do this. No one really expects you to really know how to do this process. And as an event planner, I want to be able to, help you navigate that and answer any questions that you may have. So this channel is going to be filled with tips and tricks for modern brides and grooms, and what it is to get married in 2021, like all exciting things and navigating through COVID and all this stuff that we've had to deal with this past year. I hope to be able to post every week. Don't hold me to that, but I am going to try my best to post every week for you guys with different content, different tips, and hopefully, this will help. So without further ado, I want to introduce my first topic for today, which will be everything that you need to know when hiring a month of coordinator. So a lot of us have, heard about month of coordination, but maybe we don't fully know what that means. And is that package right for you? What's the difference between a month of coordinator and a day of coordinator? All these things that most couples ask when, they're looking at my services. So I want to address this and definitely help anyone that really needs clarification on this. So we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into it. You may be asking yourself, maybe you're not, but you may be asking yourself, why is Stephanie sitting in an empty room? Well, guys, I moved into a new house with my fiance not too long ago, and I really haven't had a chance to transform my office space. So I'm currently sitting on the floor of my office, and yes, it is empty with the exception of a few boxes in front of me, but I just have not had a chance to transform this space the way I want to yet. But I am definitely working on it. You will definitely see some changes as we progress in the videos. But yeah, this is life right now. Empty room. So yeah. All right, guys. So everything you need to know when hiring a month of coordinator. But what is a month of coordinator? A month of coordinator is a coordinator planner who comes in a month prior to your wedding and basically catches up to speed as to everything that you've done up to that point. So all the vendors you've booked, anything that you've pretty much done for that whole wedding process, you catch that coordinator up to speed a month prior to your wedding. And what that coordinator does, starting from that point, is first, they'll go ahead and confirm all of your vendors. So after you give them a list of all the vendors that you've booked, they'll go ahead and one by one start confirming them. So they'll call them. They'll make sure that the vendor knows exactly the date of your wedding, knows the time that they need to be there, and they've been paid in full. So as a planner, I want to make sure that my vendors, or the vendors that will be there for my client, that they have been paid in full, so they show up, and that they know exactly where they're going and at what time they need to be there. Because you don't want your decor person to have a, let's say, start time of noon, and then they don't know exactly what time they're supposed to be there. So they're thinking, well, ceremony starts at 4 o'clock. So if I'm there by like 1, 2 o'clock, it should be fine. No, we need to have a set time for each vendor to come in. So that's what your coordinator, or that's the first thing that your coordinator will do, is go ahead and confirm all of your vendors. So if that's 5 vendors, if that's 10 vendors, we'll go ahead and confirm that just to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Now, number 2, it's going to be a timeline. So your month of coordinator will definitely provide a timeline for you. So you'll have a meeting with them and you'll talk about how you want that day to go. And if there's any specific traditions that you want to do, or if there's really anything specific that you want, because you want to make sure that those are all things that are added into that timeline. So the coordinator will then take all that information that you've talked about and plan your day for you. Create that timeline. As I like to say, a timeline is a guideline. We try and stick as close as we can to the timeline, and it is our job as a coordinator or a planner to make sure that we stick to that as best as possible. A good coordinator will make sure that there is a buffer just to make sure that everything runs smoothly and, you know, goes as we all expect. But like I said, a timeline is more of a guideline than it is anything else. A month of coordinator will also include a rehearsal. Now, not all of them will. I personally do. We do include a rehearsal, and that's just to make sure that your bridal party and you know exactly what you're doing that day and know where to stand, how to stand, and exactly when you're going to be going or walking up the aisle and down the aisle. And if there's any questions, it's better to address them the day before the wedding or whenever your rehearsal is, which is typically done the day before. But it's better to address all those questions beforehand than to have any questions the day of your wedding. Because like I said, we're on that timeline and we're trying to stick to the timeline as best we can. A month of coordinator will also include management coordination. So this means that your planner or your coordinator will be on site for your wedding. So they will be there for the allotted time that you have agreed on your contract. Typically this is 8 to 10 hours. Sometimes it can be 12 hours. It just depends on what you had agreed upon at the time of the signing of the contract. But typically 8 to 10 hours. I like to best use my time for my clients. In the morning, typically, you know, you're doing hair and makeup. I don't necessarily have to be there for hair and makeup. It's maybe a better use of my time to come in a little bit later, and therefore I can stay a bit later and help break down and all that. So it just kind of depends. I would definitely ask that when booking your month of coordinator. I would ask her, you know, how long will I have you for, and will you assist with any setup and breakdown? So that's very important to know. Now, we also include a meeting. So this is very important because you want to make sure that your planner knows exactly what is going on that day and what your expectations are of them. So you want to make sure that they know if they do have to set up and break down. You want to make sure that they know who your vendors are. You want to make sure that they know, you know, how that timeline is going to go. And in order to do all that and in order to know all of that, you need to have a meeting before. So typically, I include 1 to 2 meetings with my month of coordination. Now, it being, you know, COVID, sometimes these meetings are done via Zoom. So it's not something that you have to actually meet in person for if you're not really in that same location. Sometimes, you know, I'm driving 45 minutes, an hour out to get to my client's wedding location. So it's not always feasible to be able to meet in person for these specific meetings. But you can always do a Zoom meeting, FaceTime, anything like that. But you definitely want to make sure that you do get a meeting or 2 in before your wedding day, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page. All right, guys, so that is everything you need to know when hiring a month of coordinator. If you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to comment below. I'll be answering any questions there. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can get notified when I post a video with any more tips and tricks for the modern bride. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative and that it did help you, you know, in trying to make a decision of whether a month of coordinator would be something that you would need for your event. Again, like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments section. And I hope you guys have a great day. Until next time, guys. Bye.